Hello, good afternoon, bonjour. I'm your host, Christin Bela. If you're watching this video, you probably want to learn how to be a better photographer with PICHA. So stay tuned. Today we're going to talk about how to have a successful photo shoot, or how to have a beautiful, perfect photo shoot. I'm going to give you 3 tips, only 3. I'm not going to give you 10, 12, 7, just 3 tips. 3 magic tips that always work for me, that worked for me if you know my work. And I'm going to give them away today for you. Let me just put down my camera. Tip number 1. You need to have a conversation with your model. You need to exchange. You need to build a connection. So how do you do that? You need to know what the person like or dislike about his body. So you need to ask the person, what do you like about your body? First, you start by what the person like. And the person will tell you, oh, I love my shoulders, I love my face, I love my fingers, my nails, whatever the person would tell you. You as a photographer, you need to keep that in mind. You need to remember that, or those things that the person would tell you or the model would tell you. And you move to what you don't like about yourself. She or he will probably tell you, I don't like this angle about my face, I don't like this, my nose, I don't like my face, I don't like my forehead. And when you know those 2 things, like or dislike about the person you're about to photograph, your job as a photographer is to remember those 2 things. That's the magic trick, number 1. We're moving to number 2. You don't have to give the person poses direction, which means, let's say you're shooting with a person who's a beginner or who never posed for a photographer before. You need to know a camera, it's really intimidated. It's as intimidated as somebody that has a gun, not a gun, okay, as somebody that holds a fire on your face. So the camera, which doesn't make sense, but it scares people. So you need to not give person poses. Example, just imagine a person that you never met before. You start talking to the person. Okay, chin up, chin down, 45 degrees. The person will not understand the photography language. So what you have to do instead is to give that person directions. Example, can you read your book? Can you walk? Can you look at the sky and like you're watching somebody coming down on the sky? I don't know. Just give the person direction. Do not tell the person how to do a pose, because the person is not accustomed to understand directly what you mean. So when you give the person direction, you give the person the freedom to play around, to do things. And also, you remember the tip number 1. You need to know what the person like and dislike about the body. So whenever the person is playing around, when you give the person direction, you need to take certain photos and look the picture on the back of your camera. And if you're sure that's the angle that the person like or dislike, the dislike, delete the photo. You keep the good photo from the good angle, of course. You show to the model, you show to the subject. The subject will feel, oh, I'm cute, I'm good looking, you know. And that's how you will build the confidence between you and the model. And the only way you can do that is to keep on shooting beautiful angles from what the person tells you she likes about her body. So that's really your role as a photographer, is to remember those 2 things. If you don't, you have a lot of chance that your photo should go awkward, or you're going to spend a lot of time and you're not going to be able to move to different location. And also, we're still on tip number 2, by giving the person direction. You also need to be creative as a photographer, not necessarily with the pose, but you as a photographer, you need to have inspiration you need to know, example, I'm doing a photo shoot with a person who was dressed with a shirt and a beret or a hat. Where can I put that person? You're not going to put the person next to a traffic line or next to whatever that doesn't make sense. That's your role as a photographer, to know where to pose your model. Your model has a lot of things going on in his head, so you need to make sure that as a photographer, you know the location, you know where you're going, you know what's up. So we're moving on tip number 3. The tip number 3 is the last tip, the last trick. When the person feel comfortable about you, about herself, because that's the first thing. The person need to feel that I'm giving myself to this photographer. And when she feel that connection, she's also gonna feel confident about herself. So when those 2 tricks are completed and successful, you move to trick number 3, which is give the person a pose. Now you can start telling the person how to pose. You can tell the person how to do basic poses. I recommend you to have a mood board before your photo shoot, so you can show the person the mood board. Do not show the model or your inspiration photos to the model before you make those 2 connections, those 2 tricks. So the 2 I meant by understand what the person like and does not like, and do not give the person poses direction. If the person feel more comfortable to be with you and more comfortable about herself, then you can show her some inspirations of other girls or other models or other magazine. She can feel like, okay, I can do that. But if the person does not feel you, does not feel herself, she's not gonna open up. So once you do those 2 things, number 3 would be really smooth. And you have, in 1 hour, you can move to 2, 3 locations, and you have, let's say, 100 photos, and the model will feel happy. You, as a photographer, will also feel happy because you managed to make a person, a stranger, comfortable in front of your camera. So those are the 3 magic tricks by Christin Bela. I hope that was helpful for you, and if you have any question, if you have any suggestion, if you have any request, leave your comment on below, send your message too. But I think I was clear. I was clear for you. I was clear for all my photographers watching. So thank you for watching, and these are some examples. Keep in touch, and thank you again.